This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. Virgin Islands police are asking for the public's help to track down a St. Croix man wanted for first-degree attempted murder. He is identified as 29-year-old Lafayette Ortiz. Police say he's known to frequent the Christiansted Boardwalk, Red Brick, and Grove Place areas. Investigators did not provide details on the alleged crime he's wanted for, but if you do see him or know where he might be, you're asked to call police or Crime Stoppers VI. Hundreds of U.S. Virgin Islanders applied for a loan program to make their homes more energy efficient. The Solar Plus financing pilot program, as we've been reporting, launched back in September to help residents transition their homes to renewable energy. The program is part of Governor Albert Bryan Jr.'s initiative to make the territory more energy efficient and his commitment to transitioning the USVI to renewable energy resources. The initiative will provide low-interest loans for homeowners to install either solar power as well as battery storage systems. I recently caught up with the director of the Virgin Islands Energy Office, Kyle Fleming, to learn what the plans are moving forward. Here's part 2 of our conversation.
How might you be able to get money to continue something like this?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we're really trying to leverage, as well as the recent Inflation Reduction Act funds that have been made available through the Biden administration. The last time the territory, or at least the nation as a whole, saw this type of funding infusion was back in 2009, 2010, during the American Recovery and Rescue Act under the Obama administration. And what we saw then and what we're hoping to replicate now is rapid deployment of shovel-ready projects. And energy projects are certainly shovel-ready. We have such an established industry and a workforce that already is deploying these technologies. And so being able to leverage the funding infusion specifically from the federal government to expand upon programs like these, where that we don't have to necessarily be as limited and selective in who can participate, I think is certainly a goal that we have. And I think we have a lot of line of sight on how some of those resources could be tapped into and utilized to, again, expand programs like these, create even more diversity, looking at community solar, microgrids. These are almost every box on these funding sources is looking for those type of projects, and we're a great use case for that technology here in the Virgin Islands. So we think we have a strong chance of being able to see more of those projects come to fruition.
Are there any concerns about this? Like, if more and more people are going to solar energy, would it affect like the WAPA bills, like supply and demand, less people paying into that? So the people that can't afford solar energy, might they see their WAPA bills go up, or how does that work?
Yeah, so actually one of the things about this program that allows for that, that pain point to not be realized is that we're actually going to be doing an on-bill financing program. So you're actually repaying for the solar through your existing WAPA bill. So what that does from the utility standpoint, it actually sustains the cash flow, which is a really key component that I think sometimes people overlook. We really wanted for the utility to be a participant in this. I think oftentimes it's viewed as though solar is something that the utility should try to limit or stand against, and that has not been the case for the authority. However, I don't think in the past we haven't, the utility hasn't always been as much of a participant in the renewable energy transition, especially at the distributed level. And we see programs like this being a stepping stone to getting them more involved. At the end of the day, people's appetite and utilization of energy is growing, and the utility can provide that service in many different ways. It's not just limited to what's generated at the power plant. So ultimately, at the end of the day, even the utility being a financing enabler for homeowners, commercial businesses, again, that allows the utility to maintain cash flows while still being able to provide the diversity of energy services that the community is demanding. For the community to look forward to more programs, more creative ways in which the Virgin Islands Energy Office is attempting to relieve the energy burden of the community, I think a long-standing energy burden, and looking forward to rolling out through this influx of federal funds, more and more programs with varying applications and technology implementations. I really see a big shift here in the energy space in the territory in the near future.
Good news for sure. And if you missed the first part of our interview with Director Fleming, you can watch it on our website, usvicbs.com. Record inflation is being felt deep in the wallets of Americans, but are we beginning to see signs of peaking ahead of this holiday season? Here's a look.
Is inflation slowing down in the U.S.? One retail analyst says.
Absolutely. So starting to see that inflation number come down in the most recent report, and we at Morning Consult are seeing indicators that inflation is continuing to drop based on some of the consumer behaviors relevant to inflation.
U.S. retail sales were up a little over 1% from September to October. Despite this, Thanksgiving dinner will cost a whopping 20% more this year because of inflation, and Black Friday deals may not be how you remember them from years past.
I'm actually expecting softer sales on Black Friday this year because I don't know if you've been online shopping lately, but it's already Black Friday all over e-commerce right now. I've been seeing Black Friday language in promotions since October. So we sort of have to ask, what is Black Friday anymore anyway?
Stocks opened lower Wednesday after Target sent out a warning of a weak holiday season when its profits plunged 52% in the third quarter. Disney is now planning on hiking theme park ticket prices for a second time this year and is reportedly freezing hiring and cutting jobs after missing Wall Street estimates for quarterly earnings. And Amazon has begun layoffs after multiple reports the e-commerce giant planned to cut around 10,000 employees this week.
Scientists around the world are teaming up with Google and the public to better study the health of coral reefs. It's happening on the sidelines of this year's COP27 climate change summit in Egypt. Ian Lee has the story.
Researchers are asking people to put their ears to the ocean to help save the world's coral reef under growing threat from climate change, pollution, and overfishing.
It's a whole sonic world that we're not aware of, so it's like really exciting to try and find out what all these sounds mean.
Marine biologist Mary Shadipo and her team dove deep to capture hundreds of hours of coral sounds in marine protected areas around the globe. Google is helping scientists sift through the audio with an online platform anyone can access, which reveals what a healthy reef or a damaged one might sound like.
So we've got a listening collective where you have ears from all over the world, and also people listen differently. So a young person can hear higher frequencies and they might pick out a fish sound that an older person won't.
All the listening is aimed at uncovering different sounds of marine life to help track illegal mining and pinpoint areas in need of revitalization.
The same sound can mean a different thing if they change color. There's all these like nuances in the sounds that we want to know about so we understand what's happening, how they're communicating.
Scientists say as more people give their ears to the project, the eyes of the world will be open to the importance of protecting the beauty below.
What a fascinating story there. And of course, many efforts are underway in the Virgin Islands to save the coral reef here. A study from the Wildlife Conservation Society found only 2.5% of the world's corals are formally protected and conserved through laws and regulations.